Hello everybody. I hope you all are clear with part 1 of chapter 2. Now today we will be doing part 2 of chapter 2, that is the end of bipolarity. So let's begin with part 2 of this chapter. The topics which we have covered till now are: what was the Soviet system, disintegration of Soviet system, what were the causes of its disintegration and its consequences. Now today we'll be doing shock therapy in post-communist regimes. What are post-communist regimes? Means those countries which became independent from USSR, which declared themselves as republics. So what is shock therapy here? It is a model of transition in Russia. Transition is change. It is a model of transition in Russia, Central Asia, and East Europe from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system, which was influenced by World Bank and IMF. In simple language, it means it was a system in which those countries which became new republics, they have to shift from communist type of government to capitalistic democracy. That system was supported by World Bank and IMF, means they helped in this change, in this transition, and that came to be known as shock therapy. Now this process of transition, why it happened, why a change? Because there was collapse of communism type of government was collapsed in USSR. Third, there was need to make a total shift to a capitalist economy, which meant rooting out completely any structures involved during the Soviet period. What does it mean? That there was complete shift, there was complete transition. All the existing institutions, they have to be abolished and a new system of capitalistic economy has to be adopted. And the most important change was the ownership of property that became dominant, because earlier there were collective farms, collective land, and everything was under the control of government. But in this new system, all those things which were under the control of government, they have to be privatized. Everybody, the people, they have to buy those things and they have to run it privately, as the system was going in USA. Even lands, collective farming was going on. In spite of collective farming, individual farming has to be done. Then, shock therapy also involved a drastic change in external orientation of these economies. It means that free trade and foreign direct investment, they were encouraged. There was free trade of goods and services which had to take place between countries, not only in USSR or the countries which were part of USSR, not only between them but with other countries of the world also. And foreign direct investment means foreign countries, they can come and invest in their countries, or they can go and invest in other countries. That was encouraged. Last, it also involved a breaking up of existing trade alliance among the countries of Soviet bloc. Now what was there? Each state from Soviet bloc was earlier directly linked with USSR states only. But now in new system, these new states, they were linked with the western states, and western states, they become their leader, means they started guiding these new republics that what has to be done in trade for the development of the country. Next are the consequences of shock therapy, means the result of shock therapy. The shock therapy brought ruin to the economies and disaster upon the people of the entire region, which means that in shock therapy, the industries which were once under the control of state, they had to be sold to private individuals. And for selling the industries to private individuals, the actual price of the industries was not considered, means those industries, they were undervalued, proper price was not given, and this was known as the largest garbage sale in history, because they were sold just like that without knowing their proper value. Then after that, the value of Russian currency ruble declined dramatically. People lost all their savings due to high rate of inflation. Now, because Russia got disintegrated, their economy was badly hurt. So the value of ruble, the currency of Russia, it declined, which led to high rise in price of the goods, that is inflation was a common feature of that time, due to which people they lost all their savings because they have to buy those things at higher prices. Next one, the government withdrew subsidies which pushed large section of people into poverty. The middle class were pushed to the periphery of the society. It means that the government, they withdraw subsidies, that is the discounts or facilities which were given to the people, they were not given anymore. So the people, they were facing poverty like situation. Next one, the constitution of democratic institutions was not given the same attention and priority as the demand of economic transformation. Now, in this, what does it mean? The constitution of new republics, they were made in a hurried manner, they were made very fast, which gave its head enormous powers. I mean, the presidents of some countries, for example, in Central Asia, the president, they had great powers, and several of them, they became authoritative, means they became dominating. For example, the president of Turkmenistan and president of Uzbekistan, they appoint themselves for first 10 years and then extended it to another 10 years. So due to this, no, the proper political system was not set up and more concentration was on economic matters. Then after that, most of these economies, especially Russia, they started reviving in 2000, 10 years after their independence, means 1991 they got it disintegrated, and by 2000 these economies, they started reviving, means they started coming back, they started developing. What was the reason of their development? Because they started exporting minerals which they found in their country, the natural resources like oil, natural gas and minerals. So these all things, they started exporting to other countries, due to which they started earning foreign exchange and the country would develop. With this we finish part 2 of this chapter, and rest of the explanation of this chapter will continue in part 3. Thank you.